Welcome back to the Purple Podcast. This is going to be I don't even know what volume it is at this point of the football season, but it's going to be the Week 7 college football wrap-up, Week 6 NFL football wrap-up. This is episode number 27 of the Purple Podcast. Happy to be here, guys. It was a rough Friday for me, and it has to be a bad day when a Friday's a rough one. Just a real busy day, a lot of shit happening with work. Ended up getting some B-dubs. I was a little bit hangry, and I ordered the B-dubs to the wrong location, so I had to drive basically 30 minutes in traffic one way and 30 minutes back. Just all the way around a pretty shitty day. But we're here. I got a shower in. I refreshed, and it's the weekend now, so don't tell me that I don't love you guys. I'm getting this one out to you. It is a little late. It's actually 8:25 at this very moment. I said that I'll do these on either Thursday or Friday. I think that's what I'll typically do. But here we are today on a Friday. So let's get to it, guys. No sense in delaying. Fantasy football wrap-up. I really don't have much to report, guys. If you've been following this series, it hasn't been a great year for me. It is what it is. In both leagues, I have had the most points scored against me. In the couples league, I'm actually having a better record. That team's not as good, so I don't feel as bad about that one. So I'm 2-4 in that league. Just beat my girlfriend Dana last week, so that's a little moral victory in itself. But in the league that matters, I'm 1-5. I've had 811 points scored against me. The next closest person would be 750 points scored against them, so that fucking sucks. I have scored 762 points in that league. The next closest person to me, aside from the person in first. So I have scored the second most points in this league by over 60 points. It's just I'm getting my ass kicked in terms of how many points I've had scored against me. So I'm 1-5. I'm in 12th. Got some ground to make up, guys. I don't even know if the playoffs are going to be possible. Some things are probably going to have to happen. We'll see. There's 12 people in this league. I think 6 make it. So we'll see. There's definitely time still, especially because there is an extended season at this point. So actually, I don't really know how much implication that has on the fantasy schedule, since it's like a regular season thing anyways. And I don't think we use the 17th as the championship because you could very well end up with a situation where a team is resting their starters, so that's pretty shitty. But yeah, it is what it is, guys. We're gonna keep you updated, but man, it's been tough. Hopefully, we can get a win. I really don't want to come in last, and I don't think I should. I just really shouldn't. Like, there are people in this league who have scored 160 points less than me, and they have a better record. And now, that's just how the cookie fucking crumbles sometimes. So, whatever, moving on. 2-4 in one league, 1-5 in another league. So, an aggregate of 3-9. Pretty ugly, not going to lie. But let's move on to the NCAA football, college football wrap-up. It was a big week for the Cats. Absolutely massive. This is a game that, the season could have gone one way or the other. If sitting at 5-2 seems a lot better than 4-3, and it was a formidable opponent. I remember talking, and I didn't feel great about it. I'm always going to take my Cats, but damn, we performed well. Going into that game, I gave us the 3 keys: some kind of O-line pass block. They have a pretty decent D-line. They had sacked Arkansas and Texas A&M a few times, a pretty good amount of times in the past 2 weeks. Our O-line actually only gives up 1 sack and 4 tackles for losses. But we did let Levis get hit a bit, which, we saw that, and we still don't want that to happen. He was able to get the ball out most of the times. And honestly, these stats could potentially be wrong because it felt like we got sacked more than once. But that's what I'm reading here. They got 1 sack on us. So, yeah, that's a good O-line performance. And you also tack on the fact that Chris Rodriguez ran for 197 yards. That's a good performance for this O-line. We're at the a little over the midway mark. Hopefully they can keep it going, get it together because keep trending up because of just what we have next. We'll have Tennessee, who we'll touch on later, as well as Georgia. So those are going to be 2 scary opponents. And we can't overlook anyone. South Carolina made us look bad. So no games to give me. This is a huge one to win. Mississippi State came into the game 16th. We were 22nd. We win the game 27-17. Second thing that I had noted in terms of our keys, it was our first true secondary test, in my opinion. Will Rogers, their quarterback, was the leading pass rusher or passing. He was leading the country in passing yards coming into the game. He was averaging 354.7 yards per game. Our defense held them to 203 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 65.4 QBR. Cannot ask for anything else there. So that's 2 of them. With that, I wanted to see better D-line or more D-line improvement. Only got 1 sack, so no, we didn't succeed in that aspect of it. But that shows you how well our secondary played in terms of, we did not get much pass rush on them, but our team still was able to hold them to that many yards. We did have 4 pass deflections, so that's nice. Only reading 1 QB hurry, which is, probably wrong in itself, to be honest, but not the best D-line performance there. I wanted us to limit miscues as well and play a clean game, and we still haven't been able to do that. 2 turnovers, a really bad pick 6 that made the game close, made it 20-17 when we could have just ran away with it. Also, our very first drive after stopping Mississippi State, we had a fumble, so that was another way that we could have got off a hot start there. And you can't have those kinds of fumbles. I get it. He was working for extra yards. That was, who was it on that fumble there? Rashawn Lewis. So he fumbled that. He was fighting for extra yards, made a good play, but that stopped the drive. And we could have gone up early there. Same thing. We did miss a field goal. It's 50+ yards. So I'm going to give Matt Ruffalo a break on that one. He did make 2 field goals that he should make. So I was happy about that to see that. But another thing, this was a sloppy game all the way around. We had 11 penalties. Mississippi State had 13. So we did not play a clean game by any means. And that's honestly what kept this game close. Because if you look at just the overall stats, we fucking dominated these boys. And it felt good. You felt like we were in control the whole time, even though the game got a little close. But we were definitely in control. We had 24 first downs opposed to their 13. We had 478 total yards opposed to their 225 yards. They only had 22 rushing yards. They only ran the ball 10 times, but they only had 22 rushing yards. We had 239 rushing yards and 239 passing yards. And holding Will Rogers to 203 passing yards on 37 attempts is a pretty good feat in itself. We outpossessed them 39 to 20 minutes, so almost doubled their possession. We dominated this game. And I would have liked it to look more like a blowout because, it felt that way. But we just got off to a slow start. But those were basically the 3 keys coming into the game. Check marks on 2 of them. And, that'll do enough, I guess, for this one. Other thoughts in terms of, just the good. Obviously, Chris Rodriguez, 31 carries, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. God damn, it is good to have him back. He is a monster. Where our O-line has struggled, he picks them up, makes them look a lot better than they probably are because he is always falling forward. He is always getting positive yards, and that's something that you just – oh, man, it counts for everything in college football, and that's going to be a big theme going into this Tennessee game as well because we need to shorten that game up. We're not going to go fully into the Tennessee game this week because we do have that bye. We'll touch on it next week, but, yeah, that's just something that kind of came into my mind there. Another thing, obviously the good secondary, great performance from the secondary. They, they held the leading passer in the country to 203 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Great performance there, especially with no pass rush either. And this one kind of goes hand in hand with a negative. So that pick 6 by Will Levis, horrible timing. That could have really given them a shot to win this game. 17-20, fourth quarter, pick 6. We had all the momentum in the world. We were about to put it away, stomp on their throat, and we let them back into the game there. That shit you cannot do against a better team because I think this Mississippi State team isn't great because we really did dominate them. They had some good wins, though, coming into it. They felt like they were a lot better on paper. But that pick 6 makes it 20-17 in the fourth quarter. But the good in that is our answer. Will Levis comes back after throwing that pick six, a 50-yard pass to DeKel Crowdis. And, we end up scoring on a Chris Rodriguez touchdown, and that kind of slams the game away there. So 27-17, that's how it ends up. But a note with that as well is we really spread the ball around this game. Dane Key only had one reception for 31 yards, but that was a hell of a catch early on. So you love seeing that talent. Rashawn Lewis, 4 receptions for 42 yards. Juton McClain, 3 for 48 yards, 3 receptions for 48 yards. DeKel Crowdis has 1 reception, but it's a huge 50-yard reception. Tavion Robinson was out on this game. So Barian Brown had 7 receptions for 62 yards. He was our leading receiver on a 33-yard reception. So a lot of big plays in this game. Dane Key, 31-yard long reception. Rashawn Lewis, 21-yard reception. Juton McClain, 31-yard reception. DeKel Crowdis, 50. Barian Brown, 33. So that's what makes this offense scary, especially when we're running the ball so well, because I think we live and die by our run more so. Or that's not really what I mean. Live and die, not necessarily. We have options is more so what I'm getting at. I think we are a run-first team, or should be, and that puts us in a good position. And the thing is, we always have, Will Levis, who's going to be a first-round pick, with a receiving core where everyone can make plays. That makes us a dangerous team offensively. What's really held this team back is the O-line. Ideally, going forward, that we can kind of shape that up. We saw a bit of a start in this game, but we're going to play a Tennessee team in a week after this bye week. So we'll see. Can they keep it up? I think that'll have a lot to do with what this team's overall record at the end of the year ends up looking like, no doubt. Some other bads in the game, like I said, 11 penalties, 84 yards. However, Mississippi State had 13 for 109. It was one of the most fucking terrible games to watch, and there was just penalties all over the place. It felt like it was every damn play. So that was ugly. And then, the last thing, slow start. This game was 3-3 at the end of the first half. We got to do something about that. That's not good. We dominated this game. We kept them in it, though, is the thing. So we should have put them away by more. You can't be mad with a win. We do beat this team. It was a huge win. It mattered a lot in terms of, where this team goes now. You feel a whole lot better about 5-2 than you do 4-3. Sure, we gave a bad one away to South Carolina. Seems like we do that every year. We give away one bad loss. It stinks that the East is so good this year. The year, it's just going to be tough. There's tough matchups ahead. This bye week comes at a great time. We're banged up. Tavion Robinson missed this last week. Will Levis got beat up, so our O-line still didn't do great in this game, keeping him. He had that shoulder injury, but his toughness, his resiliency to come after that pick six. He fucked up his shoulder. He dislocated his left shoulder. He said it was my left shoulder, so who cares? You love that from him. That's the fight in a quarterback that you love to see. He came back after that pick six, like I said, delivered us on a that throat stomp drive to win the game at the end. So great performance by the team. Would have loved to beat them by more, and definitely should have. Honestly, on paper, we held ourselves back from that, but we do get the win. We're 5-2. We get a bye week. Great time to kind of rest up, get everything going, and hopefully this O-line can keep building, because, I read this article on a mid-season wrap-up, essentially, or mid-season grades, and it said, just a quote from it, on the field, Kentucky has allowed 26 sacks, the most of any Power 5 team, which I've, run back the tape, baby. I said that. I said we might just have the worst O-line out of a Power 5 team, if not the fucking country, is what I had said. But, we do. We literally have the worst O-line out of a Power 5 team, and this team's still sitting at 5-2. So if they can get it together, play, I wouldn't say marginally, because they got to play better. But, if we can get steady improvement out of our O-line, that's going to only help this team, no doubt. So that'll wrap that up. I'm not going to talk too much about Tennessee, of course, because that game is still over a week away. But we'll look around the country, and it was a great week in terms of the games around the country. Baylor, West Virginia, that game started out on Thursday. Didn't catch it because we were watching that horrible Thursday night NFL game. But West Virginia wins that one 43-40. Baylor's kind of had that slide. They're at 3-3 now. Continuing down here, Georgia runs all over Vandy, 55-0. Alabama, Tennessee, you got to hand it to Tennessee. Excuse me. You got to hand that one to Tennessee. What a performance from that team. What a great atmosphere. That's what college football is all about. I bet that kicker, that was the ugliest game-winning kick I have ever seen in my life. That shit was turning like sideways. But it went through. Rocky Top wins it. They beat Alabama. And now we get to beat Tennessee, who's going to be a top 3 team in the country probably at this point. Definitely. They have to be. I haven't seen the rankings yet. We'll get to that in a minute. But they win 52-49. Extremely exciting game. Bryce Young threw for 455 yards. All the way around, it was an absolutely amazing game. Dude, the fucking wide receiver for Tennessee, Hyatt, 6 receptions, 207 yards, 5 touchdowns. Oh, my God. That is insane. Jesus Christ. But Tennessee pulls it off. Momentum coming into our game. I'm looking forward to it. Clemson, Florida State. Clemson remains undefeated in a tough battle against Florida State, 34-28. Penn State gets demolished by Michigan. Wins Michigan are going to lose. It's going to happen, right, guys? They're not this good, are they? I just think the Big Ten's relatively weak. Hopefully they lose to Illinois. Do they play Illinois? Not 100% sure. Continuing forward here, USC, Utah, that was another thriller. Utah does come out and win that game, so we're not going to get the undefeated matchup between USC, UCLA. Nonetheless, I bet that's still going to be a pretty good game there. But good for Utah. They win that game, and they've turned their season around in a pretty good way. I think they got destroyed by Oregon, I believe, and then lost that first one to Florida. So they were a top 10 team, I believe, to start the year. But yeah, they've kept fighting, 5-2. Utes are, they're going to be higher than 20th next week. Oklahoma State, TCU, another amazing game. And it's such a shame that it was, on at the same time as, all these other great games. So didn't catch a ton of it. But TCU does end up winning that one 43-40. These games just absolutely amazing. What a slate we had. We knew it coming into the weekend, and it did not disappoint by any means. Ole Miss stays undefeated, beating Auburn 48-34. Auburn gave them a little bit of a fight there. Syracuse, look at them remaining 6-0. So absolutely that Louisville loss does not look as bad at this point. Syracuse beats NC State 24-9, handedly, really. Oklahoma gets back on track. Dylan Gabriel is that difference maker. We see how, that tells you how bad their backup quarterback is, I guess. But Oklahoma beats Kansas 52-42. The Jayhawks, season slipping away. It came off stop, but, after 2 consecutive losses, let's see what they do this week. Texas, they're sitting at 5-2 too. So they've had a pretty decent season. They kept it together. They beat Iowa State 24-21. Illinois, 1-loss team. They beat Minnesota 26-14. Go Illinois, baby. The Fighting Illini. ILO. INI. I did that last time as well. Anyways, James Madison, their first week being ranked this year, 25th in the country. They go down 45-38 to Georgia Southern. So couldn't hold on to it, guys. Continuing through here. I feel like we just covered a ton of them. Arkansas gets back on track. They beat BYU 52-35, so pretty handedly themselves there. Continuing on, do we see any ranked matchups? LSU, Florida, that looked like a good game. LSU wins 45-35. They might be ranked after this week if I had to take a guess. I haven't looked at the rankings. I'm telling you guys, Stanford beats Notre Dame. Wow, Notre Dame, you stinkers. UNC Duke, so the basketball matchup, UNC takes that one 38-35. Pretty close game there. And yeah, that was the rest of the ranked matchups. Let's look ahead to this week ahead. Or actually, let's look at the rankings. Shit, my bad, guys. So Georgia's sitting at first. Ohio State still at second. Tennessee moves up to third. Makes sense. Michigan is at fourth. Clemson moves back, actually, to fifth. Alabama goes back 3 spots to 6. Ole Miss up 2 to 7. TCU at 8. UCLA at 9. All right, Bruins. Oregon at 10. So we'll have a 9-10 matchup. I believe they play this week. Oklahoma State is at 11th, so they went back 3 spots with that loss to TCU. USC moves back 5 spots to 12th with the loss to Utah. Wake Forest, I don't know if they played this week. Maybe they did. I didn't see it. But 5-1, yeah, so they had a bye, I think, last week. But they're at 13th. Syracuse goes up 4 spots to 14th. Utah is up 5 spots to 15th. Penn State all the way back to 16th from 10th with that loss to Michigan. Excuse me, guys. Little burp. Kansas State sits in the same spot. I think they had a bye as well, so they're still sitting at 17th. Illinois up 6 spots to 18th. The Cats, baby, up 3 spots to 19th. Texas goes to 20th from 22nd. Cincinnati remains at 21 on their bye week. North Carolina goes to 22nd from not being ranked. NC State back 8 spots. Mississippi State back 8 spots, so they'll be at 23 and 24. Tulane moves into the 25th spot at 6-1. So LSU is not ranked, even at 5-2 in a win against Florida. So they're probably right on the border. Yep, they are receiving votes. They have received the second most votes to get in. So they have 87 votes. Purdue sitting there at 95 votes. South Carolina getting some recognition. They had 13 votes, but still a little bit away there. All right, guys, let's look to the week ahead in terms of these games. We have a few playing out tonight. Tulsa Temple, don't give a shit. UAB, WKU. So that's, I got to show some love for the Kentucky team. They're down 7-0 right now in the first quarter. Time to go. What's the end of the first? Continuing ahead. Louisville gets a game against Pittsburgh. They're actually favorited by 2.5 points. It's at Cardinal Stadium. They are sitting at 3-3. They are 1-3 in the ACC. So not a very great look there. How has Pittsburgh only played 2 ACC games? I have no idea. But Louisville off a bye. They'll be playing Pittsburgh. We'll see what happens there. Ohio State gets the bunny of Iowa this year. So they should take that one. They're 30-point favorites. Good Lord. Tennessee plays UT Martin. So a little cupcake game. Do they have a little hangover? But they're probably going to try to keep some people healthy coming into this Cats game the week later. But they should handle that one pretty well. UT Martin at 4-2. Not a terrible football team. An undefeated matchup between number 5 Clemson and number 14 Syracuse. That game is at Clemson. So how does Syracuse do? Are they for real? Can they go on the road and win in Death Valley? Let's see. I'm gonna take the Qs. Let's do it, baby. They're 14-point dogs, so I think I would take them with points. Cincinnati SMU. Let's take the Bearcats in that one. Kansas Baylor. Not very interesting. Let's take Kansas though. Continuing forward here, do we have anything else that's relatively interesting? West Virginia, Texas Tech. There'll probably be some fireworks in that one. The over/under is 66 there. Ole Miss, LSU. So I think that's going to be a close game. LSU is actually favored at -1.5. It is in Baton Rouge, so at Tiger Stadium. We'll take the Tigers. We'll take the Tigers in that one. We'll take them. We'll take a money line though. No, that's not as good. We'll take it. We'll take a -1.5. Let's take LSU. Fuck Ole Miss, man. We should have beat them. UCLA, Oregon. That game's going to be in Eugene. That's going to be an awesome game. I guess that's probably the game I'm looking forward to most this week. So I'll take UCLA in that one. Let's ride it. Oklahoma State, Texas. I think Oklahoma State wins that one. I do, and they're dogs by 6. Good Lord, is someone hurt? Someone might be hurt for Oklahoma State. I'm taking Oklahoma State -6 all day long. Wake Forest, Boston College. I would take Wake in that one. Tulane, Memphis. Tulane is a 7-point favorite. I'll take Tulane in that as well. Continuing forward here. I'll probably get better about this. I'll probably pick out the games I want to talk about. So I'm not just scrolling through all of them and picking out the ones that look interesting. But Alabama plays Mississippi State. That game is going to be in Tuscaloosa. Alabama's probably going to run all over Mississippi State, but we'll see. Let's see how legit Mississippi State was. This is a massive test. They're still ranked 24th. They'll be playing number 6 Alabama after a loss themselves. So let's see that one. I think Alabama's going to do it, but let's see. Whatever. Penn State plays Minnesota. I'm going to take Minnesota. Penn State looked real bad last week. TCU, Kansas State. That's an interesting game. That's a number 8 and number 17 matchup with TCU being undefeated still. I'm going to take TCU in that one. That is at their home stadium, so we'll take them. And that'll do it for this week in football, this upcoming week. Looking forward to the college football, or this week in college football. Not as many good games, of course, but you never know what'll happen. Let's move on to the NFL wrap up here. And we'll look at the Dolphins, where we are on a 3-game skid. I'm going to take a drink of my beer real quick because I'm going to need it to talk about this game. Thank you, guys. So we do lose this game. We are at 3-3. I don't feel awful about this game, truthfully. We're getting Tua back this week, which is massive. But we lose 24-16, and I think, honestly, on paper, we beat ourselves. We'll look at these team stats here. We had 23 first downs opposed to Minnesota's 11. Yep. 73 plays opposed to their 50. 458 total yards opposed to their 234. However, we have 10 penalties for 97 yards. That's big. Rushing yards, 78 to 73. We had 73, so nothing really there, pretty negligible. And we outpossessed them 35 to 24 minutes. However, we had 3 turnovers when they had 0. So that's how it goes, guys. We literally dominated that football game, but dirty game. Didn't play it well. Didn't limit miscues by any means. So you all know me. That's I always bring it up because it's absolutely massive. That's how you lose games that you should win. We have 3 turnovers. We have 10 penalties. We give them 100 yards worth of penalties when they have only 2, as well as 0 turnovers. So they played a clean game. They didn't move the ball well. They looked like shit. Truthfully, they looked like shit. But that's what happens. So we'll look coming into this game. I had mentioned the 3 keys of the game. So we had a banged up secondary against a formidable pass attack. Limit big plays was one of my notes as well on that. That same one. It was a little secondary note, but we did our job. Kirk Cousins, 20 of 30, fine passing, completion percentage, but he had 175 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So we didn't turn the ball over, but he had 175 fucking passing yards. Justin Jefferson did have 6 receptions for 107 yards, along with 47. So that is a big play, and we also did give up a big run, a 53-yard run to Dalvin Cook. But, we were in this game. We only gave up 24 points. We saw, however many yards. What was it again? We only gave up 234 yards. We should win that game 9 times out of 10. We held up. Nick Needham goes down with an Achilles injury. He's going to be out for the year, which, really hurts. But Noah Iguanabani, who I've been very critical of in his time at Miami, he was a first-round pick. We could have gotten, a pretty good running back. I don't love the running back pick, but it would have been like a 31st pick. But Noah Iguanabani has not performed up to where he was drafted by any means. But, a banged-up secondary, we still played pretty well. We limited him absolutely. We gave up 175 passing yards. Take advantage of opportunities? Nope. We had plenty of opportunities to score points. We moved the ball, but we just couldn't get it in. And I think that's a lot to do with, a backup quarterback for one, a banged up O-line. So, you see we have 10 penalties. We had 3 turnovers. We gave up 6 sacks with that banged up team. Jason Sanders with a just pathetic 52-yard field goal attempt. You're a pro quarterback. I'm not giving you the same leniency that I gave Matt Ruffalo. You're a pro kicker, dude. 52 yards should be in your bag. You should not miss that shit by that bad. And it looked awful. So, new kicker might be inbound for the Dolphins. Put that one on the record, no doubt. But that's what happens. And, you can't put it all on the O-line either. Teddy just has negative pocket presence. It's not all on him either. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it's about 50-50. He holds the ball too long. He moves slow. He stands flat-footed as hell in the pocket. And, he got away with doing that little spin out to around him or behind him once, but he tried it again without even looking what was there and just spun right into Zadarius Smith. There's a sack, and you gave it to him. So Teddy had great numbers aside from 2 picks, but he went 23 of 34 for 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 5 times for a loss of 25 yards. So he just couldn't put it in at the end of the day. drives just ended up stalling. We'd move the yards, but to no avail because we'd end up fucking it up with a penalty or, Teddy getting sacked. So that's what happens. We did not take advantage. Our defense made stops. They did. They made the stops they needed to. They gave our offense all the opportunity to score and win this game, but we just did not take advantage of our opportunities. So that's a no there. And then let the players play. Yes, we did. We did not have a rushing attack. Raheem Mostert carried the ball 14 times for 49 yards. That's not good enough. We only had 73 total rushing yards. This team isn't a very good rushing team. We've seen that. Currently, we're ranked at 30th in the league in rushing yards per game at 81.2. So we went under our average. Not great by any means, but you look at the receiving core, Tyreek Hill, 12 receptions, 177 yards. That's one of my good notes in this game. Tyreek Hill is leading the league in receiving yards right now. He's had 3 different quarterbacks play with him so far this year. He's just that fucking dude. I wish he was a better guy so I could root for him a little harder, but he is a damn good football player. There is no denying that. He's on pace right now to break the receiving yard record. So that show you how dominant he's been. Jalen Waddle goes for has 6 receptions, 129 yards, but he is also on the bad of this game. He's responsible for 2 turnovers and essentially 10 points off of his turnovers. He had one that was going to be a first down. Teddy put it on him. He did. Bounces right off his chest. The Vikings make a good play on it. Somehow scoop that ball off the turf without it hitting. Interception, they get a field goal. We were then driving late in the fourth when it's 10-16 with a chance to win the game. Truthfully, or take the lead, not necessarily win the game, but it was late. It was like 4 minutes left in the game. Driving, Jalen Waddle catches the ball. It's a first down. And just weak ball security. Really didn't get much of a rip on this ball. It just kind of nicked his arm and coughed that shit up. And there it goes. One play later, they run one play, gain about 6 yards. And then the next play, Dalvin Cook goes for a 53-yard touchdown. We're down 24. They went for 2, so we're down 24-10. Looking pretty bad. Next possession, Teddy throws an absolutely disgusting interception. The game's, all over. Our defense makes a stop, and we score some, garbage time points. Gives us a chance with the onside kick. Don't get it, as you don't tend to do. It's a hard thing to do, so you don't want to be in that position. You don't want to be relying on an onside kick by any means. So those 2 possessions were just bad. And, those 2 turnovers were also just very bad. That is a game killer. But also in terms of, getting it to our ball players, Mike Gesicki, another good in this game that I called out. So those are my 3 goods. I had our defense just absolutely performing like dogs, even with a little bit of injuries. We're a little bit banged up. Nick Needham goes out, as well as Trey Flowers going out. So those hurt. Those are 2 guys that are on the IR now. But our defense played like dogs. Gave us a shot in this game. We just didn't take advantage of it. We did have some players. We put up some pretty good numbers, but just could not put it in. Mike Gesicki had 6 receptions, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. With his, I guess he's done grittying now, and that's okay with me. He was having fun, so don't hate on him too much. He was just fucking around. He knows he looks stupid. But yeah, we got playmakers the ball. They made plays. We just couldn't get it in the end zone, and I think a lot of that has to do with, you have backup quarterbacks. Skylar Thompson looked really well, but we fucked up his first drive too by getting 5 penalties in 1 possession. That is my last negative of this game. Well, I haven't touched on the O-line either because that's just bad. But 10 penalties for 97 yards, you're not going to win many games doing that. So both my teams just have, the Cats and the Dolphins just have played ugly-ass football. And then the O-line, so that's the last bad. 6 sacks, 8 tackles for losses, which does include the sacks as well. So only 2 other tackle for losses at that point, but they had 9 pass deflections. That's on the quarterback. I don't care what you say. You got to move, Teddy. You got to do something. You got to figure it out, dude. 9 pass deflections, good Lord, at the line, and 13 QB hits. And that's that goes both ways. O-line needs to hold up better. Teddy, you got to get the help. You got to get the ball damn out of there too. But that's how it goes. We lose that game 24-16. Could have won it by all means. The season isn't over. 3-3. Tua's coming back, which is exciting. Love to see that for him. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, which, you couldn't pick a better game for him to come back for. The Steelers did just, they're coming off a 20-18 win against the Buccaneers. But this is a team in the Steelers that are ranked, almost last in every single statistic, or like close to last in every single major statistic, defense and offense. So if you go through it, in points per game, they're 28th, yards per game, 29th, passing yards per game, 24th, rushing yards per game, 26th. Defensive rank, yards allowed per, or points allowed per game, 25th. Yards per game allowed, 31st. Passing yards allowed per game, 31st. Rushing yards per game allowed, 18th. It's not a great team. With that being said, this is the NFL, and any team can beat you on any given day. With that being said, if we say that again, this is a winnable game. It is. We get our starting quarterback back. Teron Armstead is trending up, getting that toe in good shape. We do have a lot of people banged up. Jalen Waddle's questionable. Xavier Howard's questionable. Keon Crossan is doubtful. Our secondary is beat up. So that's going to be a thing to note. This is a rookie quarterback. So I think we're going to be okay, truthfully. I think Kenny Pickett has potential. I don't think he's there yet, and I don't think they have weapons. They do have weapons, but their defense isn't great either. So there's not really a redeeming quality about that Steelers team currently. They're not playing great football, but they did just beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers are definitely not who they've been, and neither is Tom Brady. I guess we can say that at this point as well. But you can't count him out. He can definitely come back and start doing shit. He is who he is. But right now he doesn't look great. So looking at this game, in order to win it, my 3 keys to it: keep Tua clean. Fucking please keep Tua clean. I do not want to see him coming back to his first game to be on his ass all game long. I'm just gonna say, Tua is a more fragile quarterback. It is what it is. He's a smaller guy. He's had injury history, so we got to keep this dude clean. If we do, I think we have no problem winning this game. I don't. Keep him clean. He's going to deliver the ball. We have playmakers. We've had players making plays with, a third-string quarterback. So I have no doubt this offense is going to move the ball, and I think getting Tua back will help us punch these motherfuckers in because we haven't been doing it. We haven't been scoring the points, even though we're putting up pretty good yards. Our offense, in terms of yards per game, is ranked 7th. Passing yards per game, we're ranked 2nd. Our rushing game is awful at 30th, and, we're at 16th in points per game. So it shows. That's the tail of it. We're getting yards. We're just not punching it in, and that's what happens when you have backup quarterbacks who just, when everything gets tight in the red zone, they're not making the right plays. They're taking sacks at the wrong time. So I think Tua is the difference there. I truly do. Another thing we need to do, penalties need to be cut back heavily. I don't want to see the turnovers. I want to see Jalen Waddle, if he's playing, of course, I want him to have a bounce back. He had a good game. Aside from 2 terrible turnovers that were his fault, both of them were. That's accountability. It's going to happen sometimes. He still went for, so in his worst game as a pro, I would say, just in terms of, how it affected the game, he had 6 receiving yards for 129 yards. It's pretty damn good. And especially after that fumble, it was good to see him on that screen pass. He took it for 49 yards up the sideline. Did unfortunately injure his shoulder on it. I don't know how serious it is. I need to look a little more into that. But he's there. He's a dog. I still feel good about Jalen Waddle. He has had some drop issues because he's been a body catcher. But I think he can figure it out. It's weird because sometimes he makes insanely good catches, and I don't feel bad about his hands. It's just those sometimes, there's plays where it just looks bad. He just lets it get into his body too much, and it pops right off. We need to cut back on penalties, turnovers as well, because there it goes. I'm going to say it might just be a fucking point all year long because both my teams can't seem to figure that out. But that's how you let teams that shouldn't beat you on paper. Example, the Pittsburgh Steelers. On paper, we should beat this team. We're at home. We have our starting quarterback back. We should beat them. They're statistically one of the worst teams in the league. But not everything is statistics, and we can play a game to let them win this. So stay clean, keep Tua clean, cut back penalties, turnovers, and, finish opportunities. I guess that kind of goes hand in hand. I just want to see us play a fucking clean game. Like, just let this offense move, take advantage. I don't think our defense is going to have any issue stopping this Pittsburgh offense. Truthfully, we stopped the Vikings. The Jets weren't, anything terrible on offense or terribly scary. But, look at them. They just thraxed the Packers at home. So our defense is, even though statistically ranked pretty low because we've played the Bills who put numbers on us, not points, but yards. And then also that Ravens game, that was big. So I think this defense is better than what we look on paper, which, that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say, not everything is on paper. It's not set in stone. It doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to happen in this game. So I do think if we play our kind of football, we win this game, and I think we win it pretty handedly as well. So the secondary questions could, allow for a little more success in that Pittsburgh offense, but I think we take it. I think we beat our former head coach Brian Flores, and we get back on track 4-3. Tua's back. I think we feel good. It's that primetime game, so let's win that one, boys. Let's do it. I'm gonna take us in that one. I'm gonna have another burp here. A lot of talking, a lot of air coming in. I'm gonna take another drink of my beer as well. All right, guys, let's look around the league now at the scores of this past week. I touched on that Thursday night game briefly, 12-7. Ugh, ugly. Bears could have won it in the end, but they lose 12-7. Like I said, Vikings beat us. Falcons, how about them Falcons? Beating the 49ers 28-14. That team has played well. I think they're undefeated. If not still, they're probably still undefeated against the spread. I would say they were probably underdogs in that game. So I would say they're probably still undefeated against the spread. Pretty good look. Marcus Mariota's numbers were weird as hell. I remember seeing that. I think he was 13 of 14 passing for 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's crazy that he's still their quarterback and they're winning like that. I guess he's not turning the ball over, so that's huge, guys. That's why I bring it up all the time. Patriots with a statement beating the Browns 38-15. Obviously, that Browns team isn't great right now with Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback, but that roster they're filled, and the Patriots have looked really good these past 2 weeks. So Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones, there's going to be a question. Bailey Zappi went for 24 for 34, 309 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's just playing smart. He's playing good. They have a good rushing attack. They have a good defense. That team is getting a little scarier. I'll admit it firsthand. Jets, like I said, beat the Packers 27-10. What a performance. Zach Wilson, I think he's still not it because he wasn't even the leading passer, and Aaron Rodgers only threw for 246 yards and 1 touchdown. But that team, that roster, they're pretty decent. Breece Hall with another good performance, 20 carries for 116 yards and 1 touchdown. And, Sauce Gardner walks out with cheese on his head. Colts end up beating the Jaguars in a pretty good game, 34-27. Didn't catch much of it. I was shitting on Matt Ryan. I've been shitting on Matt Ryan. But, hey, he threw the ball 58 times, completed 42 of his passes for 389 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's what the Colts wanted, and I guess that's reassuring. And Alec Pierce, another good performance from him, gets the game-winning touchdown in that game. Bengals Saints 30-26. The Bengals win that one. I didn't catch much of that game either, to be honest. But the Bengals moved to 3-3. The Saints to 2-4. Ravens take on the Giants and lose. The Giants, the G-Men. I picked that one. I picked the G-Men. I did say it. Vanilla Vic, he was going to get it done. But a lot of slander on the Ravens now at this point. I don't even know if you want to call it slander because they are what they are. They're 3-3. The G-Men are 5-1, even though Daniel Jones isn't the best passer of the ball. We see that. Like we were touching on earlier, the Steelers do win. They beat the Buccaneers. And that one, Rams-Panthers. The Rams do win against the Panthers, but damn, those Panthers look stinky. And CMC, he's gone. They're full on tanking. They're done. I guess they're going to get some kind of quarterback. But Christian McCaffrey goes to the 49ers, which makes them a scarier team as well. Cardinals the Cardinals lose to the Seahawks 19-9. Not great for Geno Smith in terms of my fantasy team. Didn't really do much offensively, but they do get the win. They're 3-3. The Bills go into Arrowhead and do get the win. Not maybe the game that people necessarily saw on paper, only 24-20, only 44 points scored in that game. But nonetheless, a good game, and those are two teams that I think are undeniably the two best teams in the AFC and have the highest chance of going to the Super Bowl. So that might be the AFC Championship there, but the Dolphins will be in there too. Not two, but they'll find the Dolphins are going to get it done, guys. So don't worry. Eagles remain undefeated. They beat the Cowboys 26-17. Dak will indeed be starting. We saw what Cooper Rush, where he is limited. He had 18 completions on 38 attempts for 181 yards and 1 touchdown. Not great stuff from him. The Eagles move on to 6-0. They'll find a way to lose. Don't worry, guys. And then the Monday night game, I called it. Essentially, I said that game's going to be 17-14 just because the Broncos can't score, but their defense is damn good. But the Chargers do win it 19-16, and that concludes that week. Let's jump ahead to our standings here. If we're looking at the AFC East, the Bills lead at 5-1 with the Jets behind at 4-2. Dolphins and Patriots sitting at 3-3 with the Dolphins having a head up with that head-to-head matchup win against the Patriots game 1. AFC North is a tie between the Bengals and Ravens. They're sitting at 3-3. Steelers, Browns at 2-4. Titans and Colts are tied atop the AFC South at 3-2. Jacksonville in third at 2-4. The Texans 1-3. The Chiefs here are tied for first. Well, I guess did they win the head-to-head? Yeah, I guess they might have won the head-to-head, but they're right there 4-2. The two of them. The Broncos at 2-4, the Raiders at 1-4. So not as good of a division as we thought it was going to be on paper to begin the year. The theme of this episode might be going against what's on paper. Philadelphia Eagles are sitting atop the NFC East at 6-0. Giants at 5-1. Cowboys 4-2. Commanders 2-4. Vikings at 5-1, heading the north. And, they got a 2-game lead essentially on the Pack here, who are sitting at 3-3 in second. The Bears at 2-4. Lions at 1-4. That's been a weak division for a while, and not really changing. It's just flipping tides, I guess, because the Packers aren't too great now either. Buccaneers, NFC South, they are tied with the Falcons. I don't know if that head-to-head matchup, so that they're ahead. They're both sitting at 3-3. Saints are at 2-5. Panthers are at 1-5. That's a pretty weak division as well. And then the NFC West, I guess the most competitive to this point. The 49ers at 3-3, Rams 3-3, Seahawks 3-3, Cardinals 3-4. So pretty close up matchup there. We're getting into the season a bit. We're about we're closing in on halfway through. So lots of things to shape up. We'll go ahead and look at the games ahead. We are at 47 minutes, but I think I've fucking killed this episode too, guys. I think I've been doing it really well. I think these episodes have only benefited from them being separate from the other at this point. They are still kind of closing in on that hour time, but you know what? Whatever, man. Listen to me talk. Don't listen if you don't want to. Break it up in parts, But I think it's gone pretty well so far. We got a good Thursday night game last night. Didn't get it out to you before it, but the Cardinals win that one 42-34. Good performance from them offensively. They scored 25 points in the second quarter. Wow. Andy Dalton had a pretty good game, 30 of 47, 361 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. I think he had a pick or something here or there, though. Really cool slow motion video of seeing the guy. I think it was a pick 6 diving into the end zone and Andy Dalton just like in disgust looking away the other way. But yeah, Sunday night game, Steelers-Fins. I'm taking the Fins, baby. We're 6-point favorites currently in that one. Bengals-Falcons. I'm going to take the Falcons. Let's do it. Let's ride them. Shit, that would be a good one to get to. Desmond's not going to be starting at least unless Marcus Mariota has an injury in practice. But going back to Cincinnati where he played some fantastic college football for, 4 years played. But he was there for 5 years. But going back home in that regards, Lions, Cowboys. We're going to take the boys in that one. The Lions have fell off. They were kind of hot early. People thought they were looking, they were playing competitively, but they've had some bad weeks. They're sitting at 1-4. And I guess the last thing we remember of them was getting throttled by the Patriots because they had a bye last week. The Colts kind of turning it around after a pretty gross start, and that division's not great either. So That bodes well for them. They'll take on the Titans, so I guess that's their division rival at this point. It's at Nissan Stadium. I'm going to take the Titans there. They're a -2.5 favorite. Packers, Commanders. Shit. Let's take the Commanders. Let's do it. The Packer -4.5, but we're going to take the Commanders. I think Taylor Heineke's playing, so that's actually... Honestly, I think that trends up. Tyler Heineke's all right. Not the best, but he's all right. We'll take the Commanders in that one. It is at FedEx Field, maybe the worst stadium in the NFL. So, people of the trash, go Commanders. The Commies. Buccaneers, Panthers. It's got to be. I mean, the Buccaneers, the Panthers just sold their only good player. DJ Moore's probably out there sometime soon as well. But we'll take the Bucs in that one. -13. Yeah, sure. Giants, Jaguars. The Jaguars are favorited. -3. Do they know something we don't? It's in Jacksonville. I believe in that Giants defense. I think I really do. I'm going to take the Giants. I'm going to take the Giants in that one. Browns, Ravens. Ravens are going to win that one, right? Right? But they aren't great on defense. They really aren't. And Nick Chubb is a hell of a running back. I love that guy. Let's take the Browns. It's in Baltimore. Let's take the Browns. Fuck it. Let's stick with the gut. This is gut reaction picks, so let's go with the gut. Jets, Broncos. I'm going to take the Broncos. I'm going to take the Jets. That's an even line. It's in Mile High. I guess a tough defensive matchup. I'm going to take the Jets. I cannot believe in Russell Wilson. And he's questionable. He might not even play. He probably will, but he is questionable still. Texans, Raiders. That's a stinker. Let's do... Man, we got to take the Raiders in that one. It's in Las Vegas. We'll take the Raiders. They're -7 favorites, so pretty heavy. But I'll take the Raiders. Seahawks, Chargers. Chargers are -5. I don't think I'm going to ride the Seahawks after that performance last week. So, well, no, I'm going to. No, I'm not. I'm going to take the Chargers. My bad, guys. Chiefs, 49ers. That's kind of fun. Let's see what CMC's doing. I'm still going to take the Chiefs. That team is fucking good. Good defense, though, in San Francisco. So we'll see. I think that'll be a pretty good game. That's a 425 game. I'll take the Chiefs there. And our Monday night game, oh, God, the Bears and the Patriots. The Patriots are going to absolutely destroy them. No chance in hell the Bears win that game. I'll take the Patriots. But that wraps it up, guys. Pretty good episode. The resiliency was shown by your boy on the mic tonight. I had a very, very bad day. But, hey, you're going to have some of those. They happen. What are you going to do? You're going to let it take you down? You're not going to let it – you can't let it hold you down, can you? No, I love you guys. Don't ever say I don't. I'm on the mic. I'm going to get it out to you. It's currently 9:16. There's a Bulls game going on. I haven't been watching it. 3 minutes and 29 seconds left. The Bulls are down 96-90 against the Wizards. I said that was going to be our cake matchup, but we did beat the Heat, who was the higher, the team who I had said is going to be the big test. We win that game, but we're losing this one currently. It's still a game, so I'm gonna catch the rest of this. I'll catch you all later as well. Probably talk to you on Monday. But other than that, guys, just keep it real. Keep doing your thing. Keep spreading love. Keep being lovers. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. I truly do appreciate it. If you're listening to the end of this 53-minute and 26-second and counting episode, thank you. I love you once again. Purple Podcast, episode number 27. Peace.